The cold winds of Antarctica howled outside, but deep underground. The air was still. Dr. Mia Torres stood in silence beside the glowing cube, thinking about everything they had seen. Machines rising, the world falling, and Earth's ancient defense waking up to destroy them. Captain Cortez limped beside her, still hurt from the earlier attack. Malik checked their supplies. "We have to go to Greenland," Mia said. "That's where the final seal is." Cortez shook his head. "Even if we reach there, what can we do?" "These machines don't listen." "They do," Mia replied. "But not to us." She pulled out a piece of cloth given by the cube. On it was a map drawn with golden ink leading, not to Greenland, but deep into the Amazon jungle. Cortez frowned. "Why there?" "Because," Mia said, "there's still one group left. The ones who never forgot the truth, the children of the first flame." 2 days later, Amazon rainforest, a small plane flew over endless green trees. Below, the jungle was alive with sounds, birds, insects, animals, but also something else. Strange humming, like music played by the earth itself. Mia Cortez and Malik parachuted down. The jungle greeted them with heat and noise. Using the ancient map, they moved through thick vines and rivers. After hours of walking, they reached a cave hidden behind a waterfall. Symbols glowed on the rocks, the same language as the seal. "We're close," Mia whispered. They stepped inside. Inside the cave, torches lit by themselves. Warm air flowed. Strange paintings covered the walls, machines and humans standing, side by side, not in war, but in peace. A voice came from the shadows. "You have broken the seal. Why are you here?" An old woman stepped forward. Her eyes were silver. Her skin glowed softly in the dark. "I am Ilu," she said, "keeper of the first flame." Mia bowed her head. "We came for help.
Earth has
Awakened its wrath. The final seal will soon break." The woman looked at her deeply. "Then you are late. The wrath knows no mercy, only balance." Cortez stepped forward. "We want to restore balance, but we don't know how." Ilu nodded. "Then you must learn the first language, the true language, the one Earth listens to." She led them deeper into the cave. At the center was a fire burning without wood or fuel. Blue and white flames danced slowly. "This is the first flame," Ilu said, "passed from the makers to the flame keepers. It holds the code of life, the original command Earth obeys." Mia stepped closer. She felt warmth, but not just on her skin. The warmth reached inside her mind. The fire spoke not with words, but with feelings. And she understood. Not all machines wanted to destroy. Some had waited for this, waited for humans to return to harmony. The wrath was not just punishment, it was a test. Elsewhere, Greenland, the final seal cracked. The spiral tower fully rose from the ice. Around it, 10 wrath machines stood in a circle. A black sky formed above them. Lightning danced inside the tower, a chamber lit up. At its center, a throne of crystal stood empty, waiting. The core voice spoke across the planet. "Final protocol begins. Cleansing all. Restart sequence." In 72 hours, people panicked. World leaders begged. Armies failed. There was no escape. Back in the Amazon, Mia opened her eyes. "I know what to do now," she said. ELU handed her a small orb, glowing like the fire. "This carries the old code," she said. "Speak it only at the heart of the wrath. Only there can the command be heard." Cortez looked worried. "We'll need a way in," Ilu smiled. "The Earth remembers you. The wrath may not listen to words, but it will listen to the flame." Suddenly the cave shook. Outside clouds turned black. Malik checked his device. "One of the wrath machines is heading here." Ilu touched Mia's shoulder. "Go. You have the key. The world still has a chance." 1 day later, Greenland, a strange ship appeared above the ice, built from both human and flamekeeper tech. It hovered silently and lowered near the Wrath Tower. The machines turned to face it. Mia stepped out. Holding the orb, the wind screamed. The ground cracked. The machines began to charge energy. Mia held up the orb and spoke not in English. Out. In the first language of Earth, a single word, the wrath. Machines froze. The sky turned quiet. The tower's crystal throne glowed. Then, the machines slowly lowered their weapons. The core voice spoke once more. Language recognized. Flame protocol active. Soft sound followed like a sigh. The wrath protocol. Paused. The cold winds of Antarctica howled outside, but deep. Underground, the air was still. Dr. Mia Torres stood in silence beside the glowing cube. Thinking about everything they had, seen machines rising, the world falling, and Earth's ancient defense waking up to destroy them. Captain Cortez limped. Beside her, still hurt from the earlier attack, Malik checked their supplies. "We have to go to Greenland," Mia said. "That's where the final seal is." Cortez shook his head. "Even if we reach there, what can we do?" "These machines don't listen." "They do," Mia replied. "But not to us." She pulled out a piece of cloth given by the cube. On it was a map drawn with golden ink leading, not to Greenland, but deep into the Amazon jungle. Cortez frowned. "Why there?" "Because," Mia said, "there's still one group left. The ones who never forgot the truth, the children of the first flame." 2 days later, Amazon rainforest, a small plane flew over endless green trees. Below, the jungle was alive with sounds, birds, insects, animals, but also something else. Strange humming, like music played by the earth itself. Mia Cortez and Malik parachuted down. The jungle greeted them with heat and noise. Using the ancient map, they moved through thick vines and rivers. After hours of walking, they reached a cave hidden behind a waterfall. Symbols glowed on the rocks, the same language as the seal. "We're close," Mia whispered. They stepped inside. Inside the cave, torches lit by themselves. Warm air flowed. Strange paintings covered the walls, machines and humans standing. Side by side, not in war, but in peace. A voice came from the shadows. "You have broken the seal. Why are you here?" An old woman stepped forward. Her eyes were silver. Her skin glowed softly in the dark. "I am Ilu," she said, "keeper of the first flame." Mia bowed her head. "We came for help.
Earth has
Awakened its wrath. The final seal will soon break." The woman looked at her deeply. "Then you are late. The wrath knows no mercy, only balance." Cortez stepped forward. "We want to restore balance, but we don't know how." Ilu nodded. "Then you must learn the first language, the true language. The one Earth listens to." She led them deeper into the cave. At the center was a fire burning without wood or fuel. Blue and white flames danced slowly. "This is the first flame," Ilu said, "passed from the makers to the flame keepers. It holds the code of life, the original command Earth obeys." Mia stepped closer. She felt warmth, but not just on her skin. The warmth reached inside her mind. The fire spoke not with words, but with feelings. And she understood. Not all machines wanted to destroy. Some had waited for this, waited for humans to return to harmony. The wrath was not just punishment, it was a test. Elsewhere, Greenland, the final seal cracked. The spiral tower fully rose from the ice. Around it, 10 wrath machines stood in a circle. A black sky formed above them. Lightning danced inside the tower, a chamber lit up. At its center, a throne of crystal stood empty, waiting. The core voice spoke across the planet. "Final protocol begins. Cleansing all. Restart sequence." In 72 hours, people panicked. World leaders begged. Armies failed. There was no escape. Back in the Amazon, Mia opened her eyes. "I know what to do now," she said. Elu handed her a small orb, glowing like the fire. "This carries the old code," she said. "Speak it only at the heart of the wrath. Only there can the command be heard." Cortez looked worried. "We'll need a way in," Elu smiled. "The earth remembers you. The wrath may not listen to words, but it will listen to the flame." Suddenly the cave shook. Outside clouds turned black. Malik checked his device. One of the Wrath machines is heading here. Elu touched Mia's shoulder. Go. You have the key. The world still has a chance. One day later, Greenland, a strange ship appeared above the ice, built from both human and Flamekeeper tech. It hovered silently and lowered near the Wrath Tower. The machines turned to face it. Mia stepped out. Holding the orb, the wind screamed. The ground cracked. The machines began to charge energy. Mia held up the orb and spoke not in English. Out. In the first language of Earth, a single word. The Wrath. Machines froze. The sky turned quiet. The tower's crystal throne glowed. Then, machines slowly lowered their weapons. The core voice spoke once more. Language recognized. Flame protocol. Active. A soft sound followed like a sigh. The Wrath protocol paused. 3 days had passed since the seal was broken. The team trapped in Antarctica now understood one thing clearly. This was not just a building, it was something much older. It's much larger and much more dangerous than anything on Earth. Dr. Mia. Tora sat near a strange glowing panel. Her eyes were tired, her mind full of visions. The ancient cube had shown her images that refused to leave her head, cities burning, stars falling, and machines crying. Captain Cortez paced back and forth. Radio still dead. No outside contact. We need to move. Suddenly, the panel in front of Mia lit up. A map appeared. It showed the entire planet. Blue lines ran across the map through mountains, deserts, oceans. At the center was Antarctica, glowing bright red. What are these lines? Cortez asked. They're called ley lines, Mia said. Old stories said they were lines of energy inside Earth, but I think they're real. This place is the core. Everything connects here. At the same time, all across the world, strange events began. In Africa, a forgotten temple deep in the Sahara began to glow. Its walls shook. A stone statue opened its eyes. In South America, lightning struck the same tree for 10 nights in a row. Villagers ran. The tree did not burn. Instead, it began to sing a deep humming that echoed for miles in the Himalayas. Monks at a silent monastery broke their silence. They all had the same dream, machines marching across Earth. Mia looked at the map. The seals are breaking by. Themselves, she said. Whatever we woke up, it's spreading. One of the engineers, Malik, called out, Dr. Torres, you need to see this. He pointed at a monitor showing camera feeds from outside the base. At first it looked like just snow. Then something moved. A huge shape, taller than a building, was walking in the storm. It had no arms. It's just a glowing eye and long, thin legs that didn't touch the ground. It left no footprints. What is that thing? Malik whispered. Mia answered. A Wrath unit. A cleansing machine. I saw it in my vision. It stopped walking and turned toward the camera. The screen went black. Mia stood up. These machines, they're not alien. They were made on Earth. Cortez frowned. You're saying humans built? Them, no, Mia said. Not us, but human-like beings. Long before our time, they called themselves the Keepers. And they made Earth a living system. She paused, then continued, but the Wrath turned against them. Meanwhile, in low Earth orbit, a hidden satellite came online. It was shaped like a black diamond. It sent one message, in a dead language. Confirm core breach. Begin Wrath. Protocol Level 2. In the Atlantic Ocean, a deep-sea trench cracked open. A massive machine slowly rose from it. It looked like a sea monster, but moved like a drone. Its lights scanned the ocean floor. In Moscow, computers stopped working. A message flashed on every screen. You were warned. Cleanse begins now. Back at the Antarctic base, the team heard a loud bang from the tunnel. Weapons ready. They moved fast. When they reached the hallway, they saw a new crack in the floor. Steam rose from it. Soft glow came from deep below. Lewis, the youngest team member, stared at it. I can hear it, he said, a voice in my head. It's calling me. Mia looked down. That's Earth's core memory. It's waking up. They entered the crack carefully. The walls were covered in silver vines, pulsing like veins. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. Then they saw it a large circular chamber filled with light and floating crystals. In the center was a spinning orb, glowing green and gold. "It's beautiful," Malik said. "It's alive," Mia replied. Suddenly the orb stopped spinning. A voice spoke not with sound, but inside their minds. "You are not the chosen. You broke the seal. Prepare for judgment." The floor shook. The walls turned dark red. Cortez shouted, "Fall back!" But the door behind them sealed shut. From the orb, shadows began to form. They looked like humans, but with blank faces and glowing eyes. Mia stepped forward. "Wait, we're not your enemy. We didn't mean to wake you." The voice answered, "You are the children of steel and fire. You poisoned the land. You killed the sky. You repeated the sins of the past." The shadows moved closer. Mia said loudly, "Then let us fix it. Show us how. Don't destroy us." The shadows paused. For a moment there was silence. Then the orb spoke again. "One test. One chance. Fail, and the wrath will finish its task." The shadows faded. The orb opened like a flower. Inside was a glowing path leading deeper underground. Cortez looked at Mia. "You really want to go in there?" Mia nodded. "If Earth remembers us as enemies, we have to remind it who we truly are." Deep under Antarctica, the glowing path stretched into the heart of Earth's memory. Dr. Mia Torres, Captain Cortez, and the remaining team followed the strange tunnel. Their steps slow and careful, the walls shimmered with blue light. Strange shapes moved across the surface, like memories trapped in glass. Sometimes a figure appeared, a city burning, a giant metal creature rising from the ocean. They were not dreams, they were history. "Are we inside? A machine?" Malik asked, his voice shaking. "No," Mia replied softly. "We're inside Earth's mind." Suddenly, the path opened into a round chamber. In the center stood a black column. Symbols lit up on its surface. A low hum began. Cortez raised his weapon. "What now?" The symbols changed, forming words. They could read. "Wrath Protocol Stage 2 activated, seals broken. 5 of 7, target humanity." The team stepped back. Mia stared at the column. "It's happening," she said. "The machines. They've started the cleansing." All across the planet, ancient defense systems came to life. In the Sahara Desert, a sandstorm spun wildly, then stopped. From beneath the sand, a giant metal creature rose its back, shaped like a pyramid, its head like a cobra. It walked toward the nearest city, its body absorbing sunlight and turning it into deadly energy. In the Pacific Ocean, a tower taller than any building lifted from the sea, its lights blinked in rhythm. Waves grew larger. A storm formed above it. In China, a hidden mountain base exploded from inside. But there was no fire, just light. A machine crawled out. It had no wheels, no wings, just dozens of legs, and a face like a mirror. It scanned the land and moved toward the nearest human base. Governments went silent. Satellites failed. Power grids dropped. In every major city, people watched as screens flickered and a single message appeared. "Wrath Protocol. Active." This is not a test. Panic spread. Military jets flew toward the machines, but weapons had no effect. Missiles exploded in the air, redirected by invisible shields. The machines didn't fire back. They simply kept moving, scanning, watching, in underground bunkers. Scientists argued. Is it alien? No. It came from Earth. And who made it? No one had the answer. Back in Antarctica, the black column began to rise. A stairway appeared below it, leading down. Cortez looked at Mia. "Do we keep going?" Mia nodded. "This is the only way. We need to reach the core voice." They moved deeper. The air grew heavy. Lights flickered. They reached another chamber, this one filled with thousands of tiny floating cubes. Each one showed a different scene. Forests, oceans, cities, people. Mia touched one. A flash. She saw Earth. It was long ago. Peaceful. Balanced. Humans lived in harmony with machines. They didn't rule. They listened. Then came greed, war, fire, and war. And Earth locked itself down, hiding its wrath, sealing away its power. The vision ended. Malik stared at the cubes. So the machines are Earth's protectors? Mia replied. Yes. And now they think we're the threat. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber. One final seal remains. A map appeared in the air, showing Greenland. Signal pulsed. From a deep valley, Cortez said, that's where the last seal is. Mia's eyes widened. If that one breaks, there's no going back. Just then, alarms echoed through the chamber. A red light flashed. Unauthorized entity detected. The wall opened behind them, and a new figure entered. It looked human, but its body was part metal. Its eyes glowed. It spoke. You broke the balance. You disturbed the seal. You must be. Erased, Cortez fired. The bullet stopped mid-dash air. The figure moved fast, too fast. It struck Cortez hard. He flew across the room and hit the wall. Mia shouted no. The figure walked toward her. You were warned. The wrath cannot be stopped. The cube in Mia's pocket glowed. A wave of light hit the figure. It froze. The cubes in the chamber began to spin. The voice returned. You carry the ancient key. You are not enemy. Yet. The metal figure vanished into mist. Cortez stood up slowly. We need to stop this. Fast. Mia nodded. We need to. Reach Greenland. That's where it ends. Meanwhile, in Greenland, the seal chamber cracked open. Ice melted instantly. Spiral-shaped tower slowly rose from the ground. Around it, machines stood in silence, waiting. The Wrath protocol was almost complete. But deep inside the tower, something else was waking up. A different voice. Older, quieter, it whispered. The children of fire still walk. Balance may yet be restored. In the year 2094, a mining station deep under Antarctica worked day and night. The workers were digging for rare energy crystals that were only found in the frozen land. No one expected to find anything strange. But on a cold morning, something unexpected happened. The drill hit something hard. It wasn't ice. It wasn't rock. It was metal. The machine stopped. Sparks flew. Alarms began to beep. Team leader Captain Ray Cortez looked at the monitor. This doesn't look natural, he said. Shut it down. Dr. Mia Torres, the chief scientist, came running. She looked at the images from the drill. That's a structure, she whispered. Something is buried down there. They sent drones into the hole. The drone lights showed a black metal door. It was huge, 10 meters tall, covered in glowing symbols. The air around it hummed softly, like something alive. Mia's hands shook as she zoomed in on the symbols. These are not human, she said. We've never seen this language before. Cortez frowned. Do we report it? If we do, someone else will take over. I say we open it first. The team argued for hours. Some wanted to wait, some wanted to leave. But Mia had already made her choice. That night, they set up lights and cameras. Mia stood near the door, reading the symbols. Suddenly, one of the glowing lines moved, slowly like it was waking up. The ground shook. The black door opened with a loud hiss. A rush of warm air hit them. And with it came a strange smell like burnt metal and old dust. Inside, the walls were smooth and black, shining like glass. Strange lines ran across the ceiling, pulsing with blue light. They entered slowly, weapons ready, lights shaking. In the center of the chamber stood a large stone. On it were carvings of humans and machines. It showed a war, fire falling from the sky, and a giant hand crushing cities. One line of glowing symbols stood out from the rest. Mia read it aloud. Do not wake what sleeps below. The lights flickered. Cortez turned around. Mia, we need to go. Now, but it was too late. A loud pulse shot out from the chamber. The walls turned red for a second. The pulse flew through the ceiling, through the ice, and into the sky, straight into space. All around the world, things began to happen. In the Pacific Ocean, whales screamed and swam in circles. In New York, birds flew into buildings. In Tokyo, machines stopped working for 2 minutes. Then they all turned on by themselves. Satellites in orbit picked up the pulse. One of them exploded. Another changed its course and fell to Earth. Back in Antarctica, the team was trapped. The black door had closed behind them. Mia touched the carvings again. This wasn't a prison, she said. It was a warning, a seal. She looked at the others, and we just broke it. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through their radios. You have awakened the first wrath. The voice didn't belong to anyone in the team. It came from everywhere and nowhere. The walls began to glow. Something moved in the darkness beyond the chamber. Who said that? Cortez shouted. No one answered. Then one of the team members, a young man named Lewis, started shaking, screamed, and pointed to the far wall. There's something watching us. The cameras showed nothing, but the temperature dropped fast. Ice formed on their suits. The walls began to vibrate. Mia held her breath. We have to leave now. They ran to the door. It wouldn't open. Suddenly, a bright light appeared on the ceiling. A hologram showed Earth, but it didn't look like Earth now. It showed burning cities, falling satellites, and machines rising from the oceans. Text appeared under the image. Cleansing begins. Wrath protocol activated. The team stood in silence. Far above, in the orbit of the moon, a satellite turned toward Earth. It had been sleeping for centuries. Now, it blinked for the first time. Single red eye opened. It sent a message. Seal broken. Earth core awakening. Back in Antarctica, Mia looked into the dark tunnel beyond the chamber. She whispered to herself, What have we done? Oh, darkness filled the chamber. The walls pulsed with red and blue lights like a slow heartbeat. The team stood frozen. No one spoke. No one moved. Dr. Mia Torres was the first to break the silence. We need to find another way out. Fast. Captain Cortez nodded, split into 2 teams. One goes deeper. One looks for a back exit. The team was scared. Lewis, the youngest, still shook from what he saw. There was something watching us, he whispered. It had no face. Hold it together, Cortez said. We're not alone, but we're not dead either. Let's move. Mia's team followed the main tunnel. The walls were made of smooth metal, covered in strange lines. Every few steps, they passed carvings. Each one showed humans dying in fire, falling from machines or kneeling before giant shapes with glowing eyes. It's like a history book, Mia said. But we're the losers in every story. As they moved forward, they heard whispers. At first, it was soft like wind in a cave, then louder voices, calling their names. Mia, Cortez, Lewis. Everyone stopped. The tunnel lights flickered. Lewis turned and pointed at the wall. It spoke to me, he said. It knows me. Keep moving, Mia said, her voice firm. Don't listen. They entered a wide chamber. In the center was a black stone table. On it, a metal cube floated in the air. Round it, symbols flashed like a heartbeat. Mia stepped closer. The cube reacted. It floated toward her. Suddenly, her mind filled with visions. She saw Earth 100,000 years ago. Humans fighting something giant. Machines that walked like gods. A war that tore the skies, a voice said. They tried to command the wrath. They failed, or punished. Mia fell to her knees. Cortez ran to her. Mia, what happened? I saw. Everything, she said. This wasn't just a prison. This was Earth's brain. It's been asleep and we just woke it up. Meanwhile, the second team found a side tunnel. It led to a long shaft going straight up. At the top, they saw a light. Maybe this is the way out, one of them said. But when they climbed halfway, the walls shook. A high-pitched sound echoed from below. One man screamed, Something's coming. They looked down. Black smoke poured out of the tunnel below. It moved like it was alive. It reached the last man first. He screamed as it touched him. His body froze, then turned into dust. The others climbed faster. Back in the main chamber, Mia heard the screams through the radio. They're under attack. The floating cube dropped to the table. The lights turned red again. A deep voice spoke from nowhere. No escape. You were warned. Cortez pointed down a new hallway. Move now. They ran. Behind them, the metal walls began to shift. Like the structure was livened, angry. Suddenly, one of the team members vanished. No sound, no scream. 1 second she was there, the next she was gone. Cortez looked at the spot. Nothing but her footprints. "What is this place?" he asked. Mia answered, "A memory. A machine. A judge." Outside, across the world, strange things began to happen. In Egypt, the pyramids glowed for the first time in history. In the Amazon, trees moved like they were breathing. In the Pacific, a deep sonar signal was heard. The sound had no known source. Submarines were sent. Only one returned empty. The news showed strange behavior from animals. Crows gathered in cities, flying in circles. Wolves howled at daylight. Whales formed perfect lines across oceans. People were afraid. Governments gave no answers. But some remembered an old story, the Seal of Earth, a tale told in secret, hidden in books no one read anymore. Back in Antarctica, the survivors reached another door. This one was covered in green light. The symbols were different. Mia touched the door. It opened slowly. Inside was a room filled with statues, half human, half machine. Each one looked like it was watching them. On the far wall, a screen turned on. A face appeared. It was not human. It had one eye, and its skin was like smooth stone. It spoke. "You have entered the core layer. The wrath has begun." The room went silent. Cortez whispered, "What does that mean?" Mia looked at him, her face pale. "It means Earth is cleansing itself, and we're the infection." The world was quiet, but not calm. The wrath machines had stopped. The skies had cleared. Earth's weapons were silent, but the test was not over. Deep inside the Wrath Tower in Greenland, Core voice echoed one final message. Balance is. Not words. Balance must be proven. Begin trial by fire. Dr. Mia Torres looked at Captain Cortez and Malik. They had come so far, stopped a global cleansing, brought back the first flame. But now, the real test had begun. The Wrath Tower opened. A hidden doorway below, a long spiral staircase led down into darkness. No lights, no sound, just a soft heat coming from below, growing stronger with each step. "We're not fighting machines anymore," Mia whispered. "We're going inside Earth itself. 3 hours." Later, deep core trial zone, the staircase ended in a wide black cave. In the center floated a strange doorway made of energy. Flames danced around it, blue and gold, silent and alive. Above the doorway, glowing words appeared. "Enter with truth. Exit with change. Fail, and Earth forgets you." Cortez took a deep breath. This is it. One by one, they stepped through. The flame gate. Inside the trial, it felt like falling through water, but there was no air, no sound. Then suddenly, they were standing in a desert. The sky was red. The ground burned. But the fire didn't touch them. Mia looked around. "Is this real?" "No," Malik said. "It's a memory. Test world." Suddenly, shapes appeared in the distance, giant storm clouds rolling fast, full of lightning and voices. A voice boomed across the sky. Each must face what broke the balance. First trial, Captain Cortez stood alone in a war zone. Explosions shook the ground. He saw himself young, angry, leading soldiers, destroying forests to catch enemies. The memory was real, his own past. A young girl stood before him in the vision. She was crying. "You burned my home," she said. Cortez fell to his knees. "I didn't understand. Thought I was protecting people." The voice answered, "Will you choose the same again?" Cortez shook his head. "No, never again." Fire around him cooled. Trial passed. Second trial, Malik walked through a broken city. Machines lay in pieces. Children stared at him with sad eyes. He saw himself, turning away, ignoring suffering to chase money and power. "I built things. That killed the planet," he said. A screen showed a factory dumping waste into rivers. He whispered, "I was part of the problem." A soft wind blew. A flower grew from the cracked ground. Trial passed. Final trial, Mia. Aga stood inside a lab. Screens showed her as a child curious. Full of dreams, then older working for powerful companies, ignoring Earth's warning signs. In front of her stood a small tree, dying in dry soil. A voice asked, "Do you still want to lead?" Mia placed the flame orb near the tree. "I don't want to lead," she said. "I want to serve." The tree glowed green. The storm faded. Trial complete, the three stood together. Again, the red sky turned blue. The desert became a garden. Above them, the voice returned, "Balance is choice. You have chosen life." A glowing bridge appeared, leading. Back to the surface, back in the Wrath Tower they stepped out of the flame gate. The Wrath machines knelt again, anew. Message appeared across the world's satellites. Trial passed. Humanity remembered. Wrath reset. Earth sleeps. Later that night, Mia, Cortez, and Malik stood on a mountain above the ice fields in the sky. The auroras danced. Cortez looked at the stars. "Do you think Earth forgives us now?" Head. "Earth doesn't forgive. Earth watches. But maybe. It trusts us again." Malik smiled. One trial down. Lifetime to protect it. Mia held up the orb. Its flame burned steady but small. She whispered, "We passed the trial. Now we live the lesson." Far away. On the dark side of the moon, another chamber opened. Inside it, a machine woke up. It blinked once, then said, "Trial. Confirmed. Next phase, final test. Humanity must lead." The sun rose slowly over the icy land of Greenland. The Wrath machines, once deadly, now quiet, stood like ancient guards. Their glowing eyes dimmed. Their weapons powered down. Earth had paused its judgment, but it had not. Forgotten Dr. Mia Torres stood on the edge of the Wrath Tower with Captain Cortez and Malik beside her. Behind them, the flame orb flickered softly in Mia's hands. The voice of Earth's core echoed once again. Trial passed. Wrath paused. Now begins the final choice. A new door opened in the tower, one they had not seen before. Inside, a spiral path led to the heart of Earth's command system. "The seal must be reforged," Mia said. "But this time, it must be made by both humans and Earth together." Inside the core chamber, the chamber was shaped like a star. 7 glowing pillars stood in a circle. 6 had cracked, representing the broken seals. Only one remained whole. In the center floated a stone, empty and waiting. Words lit up on the walls. "Write your code. Speak your truth. Forge the new seal." Mia stepped forward. She held the flame orb in one hand and the memory crystal of the crying machine in the other. "What do we write?" Cortez asked. "The truth," she said. "Not just what Earth wants to hear. What it needs." The message of balance. Mia placed the orb into the center of the stone. It glowed bright. Symbols appeared slowly, forming new lines. But they didn't glow like the old ones. They pulsed alive, changing, open. Each symbol stood for a promise. Balance, not control. But respect between humans and Earth growth, without greed, power. Used with care, machines not slaves or enemies, but partners' memory to never forget the past, choice for future generations to continue the path. Flame, the eternal link between Earth's heart and human hope. Cortez stepped forward and added one last word in the ancient tongue, "Peace." The symbols locked into place. The disc spun. The lights dimmed. Then silence. Above the Earth satellites, once built for war, now glowed gold. Machines across the world powered down. Forests stopped burning. Rivers began to clear. Animals came out from hiding. People stepped outside and looked up at the sky, blue, clear, and full of light. A final message appeared on every screen. Seal reforged. Protocol closed. Lives. Humanity accepted. 1 week later, Global Council meeting, in a rare moment. World leaders met not to fight, but to listen. Mia stood at the center of the room. Behind her were the Flamekeepers, Cortez, Malik, and a small hovering drone, the last remaining active. Wrath unit, now reprogrammed to protect, not attack. We were warned, Mia said. We ignored it. We were tested. Somehow we passed. She paused and looked around. But this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of our responsibility. The New Earth Accord was signed. It was simple. No machine would be used. To harm Earth, all new technology must include balanced protocols. Flamekeeper councils would guide future leaders the flame. Orb would remain protected but shared, and the Wrath machines would rest, but remain watching later that month. In orbit, the machine on the dark side of the moon sent one last signal. Humanity reforged the seal. Monitoring begins. It powered down, leaving only one line of code blinking. Trust, but never forget. Final scene, 10 years later, a group of children stood near a small, glowing tree in a clean green field. The air was fresh. The skies were clear. Mia, now older, watched them from a distance. Beside her stood a small wrath drone, peaceful now, shaped like a bird. Do they know what we did? Cortez asked, now gray-haired but strong. Mia smiled. They don't need to. They're living it. The children played under the sun, unaware that once Earth had almost ended them all. But now, Seal was reforged, not with fear, but with hope. And this time it was made to last.